Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to this live session on GATE biotechnology and GATE life science techniques and tips that all of you should be using. Specifically, the GATE biotechnology and GATE life science students that should be using this particular or this session would be very useful for you. So with me, I have Chinmay and myself also. I would be also addressing this particular session. So I have divided before starting this particular session or going deep into it. I would definitely say that I would make this session extremely short so that we do not take much of your time. I have divided this particular session into three portions, right? So the first portion would be dealing with Chinmay sharing his experiences about the GATE examination. He is the topper of last year GATE biotechnology examination and was one of our students. And then in the next session, I would be talking about the observations that I have made, and I would be telling you how you can go about it. And in the last part, I would be opening the session for questions and answers. So I welcome you all again. Thank you for joining with us in this particular session, and I assure you that if you listen to us throughout the session, then definitely you would benefit a lot out of this session. So without wasting much time, I would like to invite Chinmay. So Chinmay, over to you, and you can start mentioning your observations about GATE and what you think students should definitely follow in the upcoming GATE examination. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, sir. Hello, everyone, and very good evening. I know this is a very crucial time, and it's only 3 days to the GATE exam, and all of you must have a lot of emotions within you, whether it is nervousness, excitement, anxiety, all of that. And I understand that it is very normal. But what I am trying to tell you all is my experiences particularly and what I personally did before the exam and during the exam, which hopefully will help you a lot. And I hope you relate with what I did so that you can also try to implement some part of it in your exam. So I will classify my portion in two parts. I will talking initially about what I did before the exam and what I did during the exam. So the first thing that I would like to mention is that before the exam, I did not try to study anything new. So if you try to study anything new just before the exam, it takes a lot of your mental space and you divert your attention from what you actually should be doing. So the one thing that I clearly focused on was not doing anything new, particularly just before the exam. So this was the first thing. Second, to make sure that I have completed studying and practicing the most important sections, I just went through the syllabus once again. So it is like a full circle moment that we go through. That we initially start our preparation with studying the syllabus, and then while we are about to appear for the exam, that is also when we try to again revisit the syllabus and check our level of preparation. I'm not saying this to intimidate you or in any way, but it is important to go through the syllabus once so that आपने जो भी प्रिपरेशन करा हुआ है, जो भी important sections है, you can make sure कि आपने उन important sections में से सारे topics को cover किया है. Let's say if we talk about section 4 and 5 of the GATE syllabus, which is fundamentals of engineering and bioprocess, whether it is techniques, whether it is molecular biology, if you go through the syllabus once, it will give you a surety and a little bit of confidence that yes, I have completed most part of the syllabus. So this was the second thing which I did. I just went through the syllabus once and I reinforced everything that I had learned through the syllabus. Third thing is that in these crucial days, it is very important to approach the PYQs the right way. I'm not saying since all of you must have solved many PYQs or many times. So solving PYQs, all the PYQs at this stage is not very important. So in my case, what I did was I had made a list of very important and peculiar numericals which appear again and again, and the patterns that I've repeated in the previous years. And I particularly focused on those numericals. So I think instead of going through all the previous year questions, it is very essential to save and concentrate your effort to the particular numericals that have appeared again and again. For example, in bioprocess, many numericals have come from finding steady state substrate concentration using Monod equation or dilution rate. So these are a few examples which have appeared again and again in the previous years. So I think it is very important to just go through such numericals and give yourself a confidence that yes, I can easily attempt these numericals. And before the examination, another thing that I had done was focusing on the topics that are entirely memory based. Because concept is something that you have revisited and reinforced so many times, but memory based topics is something that students usually do not give focus on initially, and they try to keep it for the end of the examination, which also happens to be a right approach. But during the last few days before the exam, I would specifically stress on this point that it is very important to revise and memorize the topics which are entirely memory based. To name some, there are vitamins, antibiotics, there are mechanisms of actions. Then in immunology, there are immunoglobulins, their properties. Then we have restriction enzymes in recombinant DNA technology. So these are a few topics which are memory based and which require your attention in particularly towards the end of your preparation. So this is something that I followed just before exam. Now moving on to what I did during the exam, and this is something that is most crucial at this point in time. So it is easier said than done. That and it is a very generic advice. I understand that please do not panic during the exam. Uh, because I have observed many people that they panic a lot during the exam and they tend to forget what they actually know. So this creates a problem. So I would ask you to keep your calm and focus on what you have done and understand that this is your final shot and you're supposed to give your best shot. um, so for that, most of the times we have some place that calms us or that gives us some energy. So please try to anchor to that particular thing. It could be any prayer, it could be music as well. So I think that will try to help calm your nerves and all the mixed bag of emotions that you are experiencing just before the exam. Um, I would like to stress on the point that if you are calm and if you reduce the noise that exists in your mind will definitely try to help you and you can listen to your inner voice better. So most of the times we have a subconscious mind that is hinting us and it is helping us through the exam. But because there is a lot of noise in our head, we do not tend to listen to our inner voice. So this is important to, and that's why it is important to keep your calm so that you can listen to your inner voice and your intuition can guide you during the exam. And this is again my personal experience, and I have quoted this example a lot of times, that there was this one question in 2025 paper which I had properly solved and I thought it was correct, and I moved ahead with the paper and I realized, and something happened, and I thought, just let us revisit that question and see whether I've done it correctly or not. My intuition actually guided me back to that question, and I went there and I realized that I have done a very minor mistake. It could be just lack of attention to that particular point. So I revisited the entire solution and I just realized that I have done a very minor mistake, and I corrected that mistake again. In that point, my subconscious mind helped me. So if you keep calm and if you do not panic, these are some loops that will help you and guide you during the exam. Uh, so that is one. Some practical advices that, and I have again, while I was guiding the students during the engineering mathematics section, and I have also taken a few sessions which were power pack sessions, and where I have told which were the specific points that you can use in your exam. So during these sessions, I've also focused on this point that You do not get intimidated by the length of the question, because GATE biotech questions are made in such a way that they contain a lot of unnecessary crap, if I could say that. That is absolutely unnecessary, and that most of the times intimidates students, and students try to go around that unnecessary information and get lost in that. So I have mentioned it multiple times that first of all, if you have solved enough PYQs, you would have experienced that the question's length is only limited to the complexity of the words. Beyond that, it is just plain numerical information. So while you're reading the question, if you extract the information, let's say you're reading a question which is from Bioprocess, and all the values are specifically mentioned in the question. So while you're reading the question, just note those values with their notations and units in your rough paper that you are given. And when you write these notations and information properly, numerical information properly, you will be able to see the formula that you can actually apply. So once you have all the notations with you, you will be actually realizing that these notations fit in this particular formula, and this is how I'm going to approach this numerical. These are the unknown things, and for this, I can use this formula. So this is something that will really, really help you during your exam to not get intimidated by the length of the question, and just extracting right amount of information and applying it through the formula to reach to the answer. And be sure that any numerical that comes in the gate examination is definitely going to be very easy, and you are going to able to you are going to be able to solve that. So this is something that will really help you all. And very parallel to this, try to properly note what you are solving. I'm not saying decorate your rough paper, but the only thing I'm trying to mention is you should be able to revisit what you have solved if in case you need to check whether you have done the question correctly, right? If you scribble on the paper and if you do not know where you have solved which question, that is going to create chaos. So what I did was I just divided the sheet into two sides, and while I was solving, I was maintaining the speed, but at the same time, I was making a system. I was just noting the question number. I was just, mentioning the notations, and then maintaining proper formula and finding the solution. So these are the things that is going to reduce your anxiety and reduce the chaos that or the confusion that can be created during the exam. Uh, Another point is that while you are revising, please focus on the notations of the formula and the units. There can be very confusing notations, and I've seen previous year questions like that, where just to quote a simple example, difference between KL and KLA, right? This is a very minor difference, and students often miss that and they miscalculate and misjudge the question. So while you are revising, make sure that you know the notation and the formula for that question. A minor difference like minute inverse and second inverse can influence your answer a lot. So while revising, make sure that you know the notations and the units. Uh, Another point that I would like to mention is that the order of solving the questions, order of solving the sections in the paper. We have majorly two sections, which is general ability and biotechnology section. And biotechnology section is further divided into core biotech and engineering mathematics. What I personally did was I did not go for general ability section the first. Most of the times when you see the paper, general ability is the first section that you see, right? According to my personal opinion, general ability is the section that takes a lot of your mental energy, because those questions are designed as very complex and you require a lot of comprehension to understand and solve those questions. And it takes a lot of your mental energy because of the same thing. That is why I kept that particular section towards the end and I directly jumped onto the biotechnology section. I just skimmed through the paper initially, and I solved those questions which were initially that I thought just by seeing I could solve. So I solved all those questions, and then I was moving forward. If I thought that there is some question that requires a lot of my attention, I would momentarily skip that and move on to the questions that are easily solvable. By doing this, you are A, conserving your mental space, and B, you are preparing yourself to work harder in the next few minutes of the exam. So this is something that I did, and it matters because your mental energy, keeping the same level of mental energy for 3 hours, is something that many students struggle with. So carefully decide what order of sections that you're going to attempt the paper with, and make sure that you see every question, you do not miss any question, and don't worry about anything that is not in your part. Let's say if there is anything ambiguous, you find question a little ambiguous, you think that the question is not correct, just leave it there and then and move on to the next question. Another point that I would like to stress is that most students try to solve a lot of mock tests just before the exam. And I think this practice is only going to hamper your confidence. Most mock tests that are currently available in the market are not up to the standards of actual gate examination. And the questions that are set in those exams are slightly higher than what you would expect in the gate exam. So I would request all of you to not go all over the place and solve many mock tests, but just focus on your notes and revise the formulae, revise memory-based topics. And to just get used to the environment of the exam, I would request you to just go through the one paper that is available on the GATE website, which exactly simulates the environment that your exam is going to provide. So that will help you to get acquainted with the kind of question tab that is going to appear. Use a calculator, which is again very essential, and a lot of points that are around that. So just one paper, do not see the result or do not see the marks that you have gotten in that paper. Just to get acquainted with the environment of the exam, just try to attempt that paper. And lastly, I would request all of you to remember the purpose why you are giving the GATE examination, because since you have already prepared so much, this is the final moment where you are going to break through all the barriers and attempt the paper, and then you're going to pass with flying colors and get amazing ranks. So give it your best shot. Just remind yourself why you are doing this and keep your spirits high. Don't get anxious, and all the very best. My experience personally with sir has been amazing. Samadhan Life Sciences and Dr. Neelab Srivastava sir has helped me a lot in my preparation, and I have seen him working hard for all the students this year as well. Uh, so let us give him the best out of what we can do. And yes, I'm waiting for all your happy phone calls that the question paper was very easy and you solved most of it. So looking forward to have good news and all the best. Do not panic. Just keep your calm and give your best. Thank you. Over to sir.
Thank you so much, Chinmay. Is my voice audible to you?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, just a moment. Yeah, Chinmay, you can close your video. Yeah.
Sure.
Yes. Okay, so just give me a minute. I'll share up my screen. Okay. So, just a minute, everyone. I'm yeah. So Okay, I'm just starting my presentation so that everyone can see this. Yeah. So I believe all of you would be able to see my screen. Is my screen visible? Yeah. Yes. So what I've done is I have designed some slides for you in which I would be describing you how you should be going about doing your this examination, right? So firstly, let me just tell you that just have faith in yourself. Do not worry about what will happen. And if you have worked really hard, then you would definitely succeed. This is the thing that you should definitely keep in mind, the primary thing. Now, what I will be doing is I will be quickly going through the slides and showing you what are the important things that you should keep in mind. So the first slide that I'm opening over here is about the strategy that you need to follow in this in the next couple of or 3 days that are coming up. So first of all, whatever notes you have made, whatever PYQs you have done, so what you should be doing is the notes and the PYQs, whatever you have done, you should be focusing upon that. I think that the slide is, yeah. So what I said is the first thing is that what you should be doing is you should be focusing upon the notes and PYQs of whatever you are doing or whatever you have prepared. The next thing is that you should be revising the entire material properly. You should be focusing upon the entire material and understanding the high yielding topics and do not start the new topics. The problem is that generally students start studying the new topics over here. So it would create a problem if you start studying the new topics now. Additional thing is that there are certain topics that students tend to forget. For example, if I'm talking about the biotechnology portion. So in biotechnology, bioprocess engineering formulas, antibiotic resistance, vector properties, and vitamins, diseases, vectors, mathematics formulas, secondary metabolites, hormones, all, I mean to say these questions people tend to, or these things people tend to forget. Now, what I personally feel is, apart from that, if I talk about Excel, so people tend to forget about the layers, the organs. That means which organs are produced from the mesoderm, which organs are produced from the endoderm, things like that. Apart from that, a lot of questions each year are asked about autoimmune diseases. So, in which kind of autoimmune disease, which organ gets affected, things like that. So this is also one of the important things that people tend to forget. So I would want you to focus upon this also. Now, yes, moving on to the next thing. So the next portion, the time that is left for you, you should be focusing upon revising the topics that are left. I mean to say, the at least 2 topics a day you should be focusing upon revising. So whatever time you are left with, suppose I would have worked with a bigger topic and a smaller topic, or a tougher topic or a easy topic, like that. So I would have mixed them, and in the coming 3 days I would have revised them. So my own focus would be to revise all the material, all the notes that I have made, specifically point-wise notes, that this is important, this is star mark, this has been asked in the examination. I would have been focusing upon revising all that. Moving on to the next slide. Yeah. So before going to the examination, I've seen a lot of students, they directly go to the center, I mean, just on the day of the examination. If you are sure about the location of the center, then it is fine. But if you are unsure, then at least once go to the center, visit the center, because at times what happens is, the location or the place has similar names. So at times the center gets mixed. So you should be very focused upon that. Next, just check out the admit card. Check out the admit card that you are having. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? At times, the photographs of the students are not properly there, and GATE specifically mentions that you should be bringing your photograph, or you should be doing this or that. So check out the admit card properly. Next, if they are asking you for a photograph, then you will have to bring the photograph, right? So just a moment. I think the yeah, so I think there is some problem in the slide. So what I'll be doing is I'll just close the slides and directly speak to you like that only. Yeah. So again, next thing, what I would be wanting you to do is that take proper sleep before the examination. That is very, very important. At times, students, what do is they skip their sleep, etc. And because of that, what happens is at the day of the examination, their mind tends not to function properly. So that is very important. At the examination center, I would ask you that do not involve in baseless conversations with people. What I want you to understand over here is that जब भी आप डिस्कस करते हैं किसी से, तो क्या होता है कि अगर उसने कुछ बोला, आपने कुछ बोला, तो एट टाइम्स इसमें कन्फ्यूजन होता है और स्टूडेंट्स जो है वो अपना कॉन्फिडेंस लूज़ करने लग जाते हैं. स्टूडेंट्स टेंड टू लूज़ देयर कॉन्फिडेंस. सो हमें कोशिश करनी चाहिए, वी शुड थिंक दैट we should avoid discussing the things before the examination. You should sit at a quiet place, or you should be standing at a quiet place and without discussing anything with anyone else. So this is what you should be doing. Next, अगर मैं बात करता हूँ, if I move on to the next thing, then whenever you are given the system, जब आपको system दे दिया जाता है, the system is given to you, then you should properly check the system, take deep breaths, and then if the system has some problem, you should be reporting it to the people, to the authorities. Take deep breaths before you start the session. You can start, if you are talking about, if you are giving the biotechnology session, then you can start with the BT portion, and start with the Excel portion, start with the engineering mathematics portion later on. But अगर आप Excel की बात करते हैं, if you are giving the Excel examination, then the thing is that you should be checking out all the subjects that are given, and considering that whatever you think is good, or whatever you think that it is easy to solve, then you should choose the subjects. You should not be having a set mind that I would be doing this question. So this is what, according to me, is important. Now, talking about the next slide, avoid negative marking. So in the GATE examination, the biggest problem is the negative marking, right? So what happens is that people try to do more and more and more and more questions, and because of that, they do more questions, and because of that, negative marking occurs. So I always say this to the students that 2 hours is enough to qualify the GATE examination, but students tend to do more. Students tend to do more and more questions. Because of that, what happens is that you go out of the race. So try to do those questions that are easy, and try to do those questions that you are confident about. Next, always pay attention to the terms like incorrect, always, never, things like that. So In biology, you would be knowing that there is no absolute term, always or never. You should be looking carefully over that. NAT and MSQ questions are must. That means NAT and MSQ questions do not have any negative marking attached to them. So you should definitely try and do that. Try and do those questions. Okay. Next, just a minute. Yeah. Next, if I say that if the time permits, you should always check the NAT that you are doing. So just now Chinmay was also saying that you should try, if you have time, you should try and revisit the questions, the NAT specifically. NAT does not have any negative marking attached to it. Okay. Now let us move on to the next portion. Yes. So for questions based on the restriction enzymes, the problem is that when you solve the restriction enzyme questions, what happens is that if you do not draw the photograph of the image of the photograph of the question properly, or photograph of the vector or insert properly, then what happens is you tend to lose the marking, or annotation is not proper. Because of this, what can happen is that you can get that question wrong. Restriction enzyme questions are very easy to do. So please make it a point to draw the diagram of the portion very clearly. Next, GA, reverse direction is useful. What do I mean by reverse direction? Understand this, that if a GA question comes to you, right? If a GA question has been mentioned, now if you are not able to solve it from top to bottom, try to check out the options that are given to you. Now fix that option in the question and check out if the question is getting solved or not. In this way, at times multiple questions get solved, and from top to bottom questions you are not able to solve that questions in that approach. So if you do the reverse approach, it can help you. Next, pay special attention to pedigree question, whether it is asked on Excel, in Excel, or whether it is asked in BT. Pay special attention to that. What do I mean with that? So see, pedigree questions, you should always check with the genotype. If you are solving it, please keep the genotype and also solve it, so that you can be confident about the answer that you are giving. Next, match the following type of questions are extremely scoring. If you want to take risk in those questions that are having higher probability of getting correct, right? So always remember, if even if one of the options in match the following questions, your chances of getting it correct increases many folds. So if I were in your place and if I were solving these questions, I would have, if I want to take risk, I would have taken risk in those questions that I have higher probability of getting them correct. Next. So this is done. Let me just move on to the next thing. So now I am showing you the previous year cutoffs. So if you check out, if I'm talking, this is the BT cutoff. I will be in the next page, I will be showing you the Excel cutoff. So if you check out the cutoff given over here, in 2025, IIT Roorkee conducted the examination, and 28 marks was the cutoff for general, 25.2 was for OBC NCA, and 18.6 was for SC/ST and physically disabled candidates, right? So next, IIT Kanpur 31.6, 28.4 and 21. If you see this data, you would know that all in all, you can say that around 30 to 35 marks are the cutoff for general candidates. Generally, this is seen, right? So what I would want to tell you, that if you are not able to, or if you see that the question is tough, and if you judge that you are not able to do as many questions, do not try to do more and more questions, because this will lead you to the negative marking. Maybe the question paper is very hard and the cutoff falls very low. So in that case, in that particular case, what can happen is, if you try and do more questions, it would lead you losing marks and you would not get qualified. So the cutoff shows that the qualifying marks is very low, right? Now let us move on to the cutoff marks for the GATE Excel category. See, this is the Excel category cutoff, 2025, 31.3, and For general category, 28.1 in OBC NCL category and 20.8 in SC/ST category, things like that. Again, you can say that roughly the cutoff is ranging between 30 to 35 over here also. So for those students who want to give the Excel examination, they should also make sure that you should be checking out, you should be knowing about the cutoff. Okay, and you should not try to overdo the questions. Next. Now, my analysis. See, this everyone would be knowing. That means if I talk about BT, the number of marks is 100. And 65 questions are asked. MCQ, MSQ and NAT type questions are asked. MCQ questions can be +1 marks and 2 marks. So, and negative marking would be 1/3 and 2/3. So, 15 marks, approximately 15 questions from GA, 85 questions from BT, and this BT, 15 marks questions from GA and 85 marks questions from BT. So BT also comprises of engineering mathematics. So you can say 72 marks would be coming from the portion of BT, and 12 to 13 marks would be coming from the portion of engineering mathematics. So I should keep in mind that I want to achieve these many marks from the GA section, I want to achieve this many marks from engineering mathematics, and I would be aiming at achieving this many marks from the biotechnology section. If I keep this in mind, then definitely I would be able to do more number of questions and I would be confident about my questions. Next, coming to the next slide. So, yes, Excel, if I talk about the life science portion, GA 10 questions, it will be carrying in 15 marks. Chemistry 15 questions, 25 marks. Chemistry is compulsory. Now in the life science portions, you have to choose two portions, 20 questions, 20 questions. Either you can choose it from zoology, botany, microbiology, biochemistry or food. I want to specifically tell the life science students that if you have prepared biochemistry, for instance, biochemistry and microbiology, but let us say that biochemistry paper comes out hard. So you can check out, or you should definitely check out the portion from zoology also, or from botany also. Maybe you are able to do more questions in zoology or botany than you are able to do in the biochemistry portion. So do not preset your mind that I would definitely be doing only this portion and I would not be doing the other portion. So that is what I want you to understand over here. Okay, so now moving on to the next thing. Yeah, so I could not talk about this particular slide because of the I have already discussed it, right? So I was not able to talk about this particular slide previously because of the internet issue. Now check the system. I have already said take deep breaths. At times what happens is the first few questions, first 3 or 4 questions you are not able to solve. Now that can happen not because of your unpreparedness, but that can happen because, let us say that you are not able to focus, because as you enter, as you start doing the questions, the level of the anxiety is very, very high. So if you are not able to solve particular questions, then do not worry, just move on to the other question. If you are spending more than the determined or more than the required time, you are wasting your time. आप अगले question के ऊपर जाइए, उसको ego मत बनाइए. Do not think that if I am able to solve this question, then only I'll be moving forward. इससे क्या होगा, आप वो question तो solve कर लोगे, बाकी नहीं कर पाओगे. Do not take it on your ego. आप उसको आगे बढ़ जाइए उससे. दूसरी चीज़, keep a track on your score. जैसे कि when I am solving questions, in the back of my mind I should have known that मैंने इतने questions कर लिए, these questions are correct, या मुझे इतने नहीं पता है. I should have that in the back of my mind so that I can get a good idea about the score. आप overdo मत करिए questions को. Again and again I am saying that. Next, use the review button wisely. When I say review button, there are two options in the GATE examination. आप देखोगे marked for review and answered and marked for review. If you are not sure about a particular answer of a question, you should say marked for review. Do not mark it. Otherwise, अगर आपने गलत mark कर दिया and वो submit हो गया paper, तो it will be considered as marked and you would be given negative mark if the answer is again wrong. तो what you can do, you can visit the GATE website, जैसे चिन्मय भी बोल रहे थे, you can visit the GATE website and try a mock test. Also you can check out the calculator that is given in the GATE website. उससे भी आपको एक अच्छा idea लग जाएगा. This is also what I want you to understand. Next. So qualifying marks, you definitely should keep it in mind. Pay attention to the terms like incorrect, always, never. NAT is must, and if time permits, check your NAT. So these are the portions. मैंने जिनमें ने भी आपको बहुत सारी चीज़ें बता दी और मैंने भी आपको बहुत सारी चीज़ें बताई. So with this I would be ending this particular session. अगर आपकी कोई भी query हो तो आप पूछ सकते हैं. Now you can ask your queries and I am open. This session is open for discussion. Yeah. If you have any questions, you can type in and ask. Any questions if you have, you can ask me. Okay, so a lot of questions have been asked. Let me just quickly check. Yes. How to be accurate in MSQs? How to be accurate in MSQs? See, MSQs आप तभी कर पाओगे, you would be able to do MSQs only when you have a good idea about multiple subjects, because जब भी MSQ पूछे जाते हैं तो वो किसी एक subject से related नहीं होते हैं, multiple times वहाँ पे अलग अलग subjects का भी इस्तेमाल होता है. तो when you have good idea about different portions of the GATE syllabus, then automatically you will have confidence in the MSQ portion. तो आप आसानी से कर सकते हो. Next. Okay. सर मोटिवेट होने के बाद पढ़ते हैं, मगर सर 2 घंटे पढ़ने के बाद फिर से वापस सोचती हूँ, ऐसी फीलिंग आती है मन में. या सी मोटिवेशन इज ऑलवेज टेम्पररी. द इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग इज डिसिप्लिन. सो इवन इफ यू आर not motivated, try to be disciplined, because discipline will motivate you automatically and you will come up again and again and again and again with the same zeal. Okay. How to be accurate in MSQ? When to attempt, when to leave if a question is in doubt. So if you are having a doubt, I would say that do not attempt it, because see, in the GATE examination you would be getting at least those number of questions you would be able to, if you have prepared nicely, आप इतने questions आसानी से कर लोगे जिससे कि आप examination qualify कर पाओ. मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ 2 घंटे में आप एग्ज़ाम क्वालिफाई कर लेते हो, बट जो अगला घंटा होता है आप उसमें, जो 2 घंटे आप एग्ज़ाम तो क्वालिफाई कर लेते हो, बट जो अगला घंटा होता है उसमें ओवर डू करने के चक्कर में आप गलत कर देते हो. सो दैट शुड नॉट बी द केस. अगर आपको नहीं आता है तो इन माई ओपिनियन यू शुड लीव दैट क्वेश्चन, बिकॉज अगर कर दिया तो गलत हो जाएगा. दैट इज़ माई पर्सनल ओपिनियन. सर एनी नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चन दैट आर टू बी अटेम्प्टेड, आई मीन मैंडेटरी नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चन? नो. इन गेट बायोटेक्नोलॉजी एंड गेट एक्सेल एग्जामिनेशन नथिंग इज़ मैंडेटरी. जो आपको आता है वो कर लीजिए, जो नहीं आता है उसको छोड़ दीजिए. CSIR से कन्फ्यूज़ मत होइए, यहाँ पे कोई चॉइस भी नहीं होती. देयर इज़ नो चॉइस. आपको 20 क्वेश्चंस, अगर मैं बात कर रहा हूँ BT में, तो 65 के 65 क्वेश्चंस आपको करने चाहिए अगर आपको आते हैं. ऑफ कोर्स इन केस ऑफ, अगर मैं एक्सेल बात कर रहा हूँ, 20 फ्रॉम BT, 20 फ्रॉम द 2 पोर्शंस, एंड ऑफ कोर्स केमिस्ट्री इज कंपल्सरी. तो चॉइस जैसा कुछ भी नहीं. सर सपोज वी हैव 3 ऑप्शंस करेक्ट बट आई चूज ओनली 2, सो हाउ टू बी एक्यूरेट? इन केस ऑफ MSQ अगर 3 ऑप्शंस करेक्ट है और आपने 2 ही उसमें टिक लगाया है तो ऑब्वियसली आपका करेक्ट नहीं माना जाएगा. योर आंसर वुड नॉट बी ट्रीटेड एज करेक्ट. तो ऑब्वियसली आपको सभी सभी पोर्शन की जानकारी होनी चाहिए। ऑफ कोर्स एमएसक्यूज आर टफर देन द एमसीक्यूज, बट अगेन दिस इज़ हाउ इट इज़। आपको जब तक सभी चीज़ों का इन डेप्थ आइडिया नहीं होगा, आप एमएसक्यू सही नहीं कर पाएंगे। बट अगेन, इवन इफ़ यू डू नॉट नो एन एमएसक्यू, आई वुड ऑलवेज से एनएटी एंड एमएसक्यू शुड बी डन, क्योंकि नेगेटिव नहीं है वहाँ पे। नेक्स्ट, do the same photograph given in the application need to be brought on the same day? Yes, preferably you should bring the same photograph. Sir, will you please make a guidance video after gate exam? Those, yes, I definitely am aiming at bringing out a guidance video after the gate examination. Again, मैं यहाँ पे और भी बताना चाहता हूँ, for those of you जिनकी पढ़ाई उतनी अच्छी से नहीं हो पाई है, even if you have not prepared well, अपना बेस्ट दीजिए गेट के एग्जामिनेशन में। बट गेट एग्जामिनेशन इज़ नॉट द एंड ऑफ द वर्ल्ड। इसके बाद भी CUET का एग्ज़ाम है, एंड आफ्टर दिस ऑल्सो देर इज़ गैटबी एग्जामिनेशन। सो गैटबी का नोटिफिकेशन अभी नहीं आया है, CUET का आ चुका है। तो व्हाट आई वुड बी सजेस्टिंग यू, अभी से प्रिपेयर करिए। गैटबी दे सकते हैं, बहुत अच्छे कॉलेजेस हैं वहाँ पर भी, इफ़ यू आर नॉट वेरी वेल प्रिपेयर्ड इन गेट BT। बट गिव योर बेस्ट, जो भी आप पढ़े गेट बायोटेक्नोलॉजी या गेट एक्सेल में आप अपना बेस्ट दीजिए, एंड आई एम वेरी श्योर कि अगर आप अपना बेस्ट दोगे तो ज़रूर अच्छे रिजल्ट्स आएंगे। सर, जेनेटिक्स में इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स ऑफ फोकस बता दीजिए। देखिए, जेनेटिक्स में अगर मैं कहूँ तो ज़्यादातर क्वेश्चंस गेट बायोटेक्नोलॉजी में प्रोबेबिलिटी रिलेटेड आते हैं, टेस्ट क्रॉस के ऊपर बहुत क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, फिर मेंडेलियन जो इनहेरिटेंस है वहाँ से क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, लिंकेज के ऊपर काफ़ी क्वेश्चंस पूछे जाते हैं, जहाँ पे वो आपको प्लांट्स का रेशियो दे देंगे, एंड दे वुड बी आस्किंग यू कि बताओ ये रेशियो किसको बिलोंग करता है, कहाँ से ये रेशियो आया हुआ है, क्वेश्चंस लाइक दिस। ये क्वेश्चंस आप ज़रूर करें, लिंकेज के ऊपर ज़रूर फोकस करें, मेंडेलियन इनहेरिटेंस के रेशियोज़ ज़रूर याद रखें, प्रोबेबिलिटी से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस वहाँ पे ज़रूर पूछे जाते हैं। और हाँ, एक और पोर्शन जहाँ पे दे विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट, दे विल बी गिविंग यू द रिकॉम्बिनेशन फ्रीक्वेंसी, एंड रिकॉम्बिनेशन फ्रीक्वेंसी देने के बाद दे वुड बी आस्किंग यू व्हाट इज़ द मैप, या कौन सा जीन कहाँ पे आता है, ये करके क्वेश्चन पूछे जा सकते हैं आपसे। नेक्स्ट, सर BT में क्या कैसे करें? मैंने बहुत सारी चीज़ें बता दी हैं, BT में जो कुछ था इंपॉर्टेंट मैंने बता दिया। हाउ मच मार्क्स अबव द कट ऑफ कंसिडर्ड फॉर गुड इंस्टीट्यूट्स? यस, वेरी गुड। सो अभी मैंने आई हैड शोन यू अ लिस्ट फॉर द कट ऑफ मार्क्स। गेट बायोटेक्नोलॉजी और गेट लाइफ साइंस को अभी, इफ़ आई एनालाइज द प्रीवियस रिजल्ट्स, यू वुड सी दैट 30 to 35 मार्क्स के बीच में कट ऑफ रेंज करता है हर साल। बट सिर्फ क्वालिफाई कर लेना हमारा एम अगर हुआ तो कोई फ़ायदा नहीं होगा गाइस। अगर सिर्फ क्वालिफाई कर लेना मेरा एम है तो अच्छा कॉलेज नहीं मिल पाएगा। प्लीज़ ये बात ध्यान में रखिएगा। अगर मेरे 35, 36, 38 मार्क्स आए एंड 35 कट ऑफ हुआ तो मुझे NIT भी मिलना मुश्किल हो जाएगा। तो मेरा ये एम होना चाहिए, माई एम शुड बी दिस, कि भाई मैं एज फार एज कट ऑफ से जितना दूर जा सकूँ उतना अच्छा है। मिनिमम आप ये जान लीजिए कि अबव 45-50 मार्क्स आप लेकर के आओगे तो आप समझ सकते हो कि मुझे IIT में मिलेगी जगह। अगर मैं कंसिडर करूँ 35-36 कट ऑफ गया हुआ है तो अगर आप 2-3 मार्क्स कट ऑफ के ऊपर लेकर के आओगे तो अच्छा कॉलेज मिलने की संभावना बहुत कम है। ठीक है, नेक्स्ट, हाउ टू टैकल असर्शंस एंड रीजंस? सी, असर्शंस में मैंने बहुत, अगर आपने देखा होगा कि मैंने पिछले 20 ईयर्स के क्वेश्चन पेपर BT और एक्सेल के सॉल्व किए हैं अपने क्लासेस के अंदर। अगर आपने असर्शंस एंड रीजंस को ठीक से देखा होगा तो कुछ जगहों पे हाँ वो टिपिकल होते हैं, बट कुछ जगहों पे उसमें ऐसी चीज़ मेंशन रहती है ऑलवेज जैसी, दिस इज़ नॉट ऑलवेज ट्रू या दिस इज़ ऑलवेज ट्रू, वहाँ से आपको एक बहुत अच्छा आइडिया मिल जाता है। दूसरी चीज़, अक्सर हम ऑप्शंस को ठीक से ध्यान नहीं देते। वहाँ पे मेंशन होता है कि A इज़ ट्रू, B इज़ ट्रू, A इज़ द R और R इज़ द करेक्ट रीज़न फॉर A। इस चीज़ को ध्यान दीजिए, जब आप उसका रीज़न पढ़ रहे हैं तो उस चीज़ को ज़रूर ध्यान से देखिए कि क्या मेरा रीज़न जो है वो करेक्टली एक्सप्लेन कर रहा है असर्शन को या नहीं। अगर नहीं कर रहा है तो ऑब्वियसली आपका ऑप्शन चेंज हो जाना चाहिए, और ये आप तभी कर सकते हो। MCQs गेट के बहुत सुपरफिशियल आते हैं, असर्शन एंड रीज़न के लिए आपको थोड़ा सा इन डेप्थ चाहिए जानकारी। सेम गोज़ फॉर MSQ क्वेश्चंस। NAT भी वहाँ पे जो भी आते हैं वो भी थोड़ा सुपरफिशियल आते हैं, बहुत डेप्थ में नहीं आते। तो बायो प्रोसेस इंजीनियरिंग ऑफकोर्स थोड़ा सा टिपिकल हो सकता है ऐसे स्टूडेंट्स के लिए जिनका मैथ्स बैकग्राउंड नहीं है, बट अगेन वहाँ पर भी क्वेश्चंस जो हैं वो बहुत डेप्थ में आते हो ऐसी बात मुझे नहीं लगती है। ठीक है, सर ये वाइटामिन्स का टेबल, कोएंजाइम का टेबल सब याद रखना है बहुत मुश्किल हो रहा है, क्या करें? देखिए, वाइटामिन का जो एक सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है, वाइटामिन्स की डेफिशिएंसी आपको सभी वाइटामिन्स की पता होनी चाहिए। दूसरा, वाइटामिन्स में आपको उसके को फैक्टर्स के बारे में ज़रूर जानकारी होनी चाहिए। अगर आप पिछले 10 साल के पेपर उठा करके देख लेंगे तो डेफिनेटली वहाँ से क्वेश्चन हर 2-3 साल पे रिपीट होता है। तो वो चीज़ आप किसी भी तरीके से आप कोई निमोनिक बना लीजिए अपने दिमाग में, या कोई स्टोरी टाइप की बना लीजिए अपने दिमाग में जिससे आपको याद रह सके, बट याद तो करना पड़ेगा उसको। सर कैन यू प्लीज रीड? यू आर नॉट वेरी वेरी अंकुश, मैं समझ नहीं पाया आपका क्वेश्चन। यू आर नॉट वेरी वेल प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर गेट, लाइक आई स्टिल अप्लाई, आई नीड सम गाइडेंस प्लीज़। तो क्या गाइडेंस एग्जैक्टली आपको चाहिए वो बताइए। सर आई हैवंट प्रिपेयर्ड केमिस्ट्री सेक्शन दिस टाइम। देखिए, अब नहीं प्रिपेयर किया है तो कुछ कर नहीं सकते उसका, है ना। तो जो भी आपका लाइफ साइंस का पोर्शन है, अगर आप उसको भी अच्छे से कर लेते हो, 20 क्वेश्चंस आपके, 10 क्वेश्चंस जीए के आएंगे, फिर 20 क्वेश्चंस आपके दो दो सब्जेक्ट मिला के 40 क्वेश्चंस ये हो गए, और 10 क्वेश्चंस आपका जीए का पोर्शन हो गया। तब भी आपके पास अच्छे खासे क्वेश्चंस हैं। अगर आप लाइफ साइंस और जीए को भी अच्छा कर लोगे तब भी आप आईआईटी पहुंच जाओगे, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। तो अगर केमिस्ट्री नहीं भी आती है, नो प्रॉब्लम, केमिस्ट्री आपका स्कोर बूस्ट ज़रूर कर देगी, बट ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर आप लाइफ साइंस को अच्छे से क्रैक करोगे तो आपका सिलेक्शन नहीं होगा, ऐसा बिल्कुल भी नहीं। गुड प्लेसमेंट कॉलेजेस, इज इट थ्रू गेट और गैट बी? भाई सबसे पहले तो गैट बी में अलग कॉलेजेस हैं। अगर मैं गैट बी में अपनी पर्सनल प्रेफरेंस की बात करूं तो वहाँ पे आईसीटी मुंबई है, वहाँ पे बायो प्रोसेस इंजीनियरिंग का कोर्स है। मुझे पर्सनली अच्छा लगता है क्योंकि प्लेसमेंट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से आईसीटी मुंबई में बायो प्रोसेस इंजीनियरिंग का काफ़ी ज़्यादा नाम है। ठीक है, बाकी आईआईटी बॉम्बे वगैरह तो आप कंपेयर नहीं कर सकते किसी तरीके से। फिर अगर आप बायो इन्फॉर्मेटिक्स में जाना चाहते हैं तो ट्रिपल आईटी दिल्ली वहाँ पे है, गैट बी के थ्रू अपनी सीट्स फिल करता है। अगेन वो भी बहुत अच्छा कॉलेज है। अभी प्रॉस्पेक्टस आने दीजिए, हो सकता है कुछ नए कॉलेजेस भी ऐड हुए हों गैट बी में। हाउ मच मार्क्स शुड वी टारगेट इन इंजीनियरिंग मैथमेटिक्स पोर्शन टू गेट अ गुड रैंक? देखिए, सबसे पहली चीज़ तो ये है कि अगर अगर आप मैथमेटिक्स बैकग्राउंड के हैं तो इंजीनियरिंग मैथमेटिक्स में मैंने ऐसा देखा है तमाम स्टूडेंट्स को, चिन्मय को भी अभी आप सुन रहे थे, तो ये लोग जो हैं वो मैथमेटिक्स का मोर और लेस 90% उन्होंने मार्क्स गेन कर लिए थे, क्योंकि वो मैथ्स बैकग्राउंड को बिलोंग करते हैं। डिपेंड्स अपॉन कि आपका मैथ्स कितना स्ट्रांग है। अगर आप बायोलॉजी के बैकग्राउंड के हैं और मैथ्स को ज़्यादा ट्राई कर रहे हैं, ओवरडू करने के चक्कर में गलत ना हो जाए, मैं हमेशा ये कहता हूँ अगर आपको मैथ्स अच्छा आता है तो डेफिनेटली आप उसको ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा 90% या 100% भी स्कोर कर सकते हैं। कैन आई स्टिल लैंड इन अ गुड इंस्टीट्यूट? या डेफिनेटली आप लैंड कर सकते हैं अच्छे इंस्टीट्यूट में। आपने अपना CSIR के बारे में भी बताया है, और अगर आप गेट अच्छे से देते हैं तो आई डोंट थिंक दैट देयर इज़ एनी रीज़न कि आप अच्छे इंस्टीट्यूट में नहीं जा सकते। नो, या सो आई थिंक कि सारे क्वेश्चंस मैंने टेकअप कर लिए हैं। इज़ देयर एनी अदर डाउट दैट एनी वन एल्स वॉन्ट्स टू आस्क? कोई आप और पूछना चाहते हैं तो आप पूछ सकते हैं। जनरल एप्टीट्यूड में प्रॉब्लम होती है, वो कैसे अप्रोच करें? देखिए, जनरल एप्टीट्यूड की अगर मैं बात करूँ तो जनरली कहाँ से क्वेश्चंस आते हैं जनरल एप्टीट्यूड में? अगर आप देखेंगे तो कुछ क्वेश्चंस मैंने जो देखे हैं वो राउंड टेबल वाले क्वेश्चंस होते हैं। एक इंडिविजुअल यहाँ पे है, एक इंडिविजुअल यहाँ बैठा है, एक इंडिविजुअल यहाँ बैठा है, PQR करके, तो फाइनली पूछेंगे कौन किसके बगल में बैठा हुआ है। उस तरीके के क्वेश्चंस थोड़े से देख लीजिए। थोड़े से जो कंपाउंड इंटरेस्ट से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस हैं वो देख लीजिए। कई बार पैसेज रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, पैसेज दिया रहेगा और उसमें पूछेंगे कि क्या ऑप्शन सही है। तो ऑब्वियसली ज़्यादातर लोग एक गलती करते हैं, मेनी पीपल दे डू दिस मिस्टेक, दैट दे स्टार्ट यूजिंग देयर माइंड रादर देन व्हाट इज़ रिटन इन द पैसेज। अगर पैसेज में रात को दिन लिखा हुआ है तो आप रात को दिन ही कहेंगे, अपना दिमाग नहीं लगा सकते। तो वहाँ पे कई स्टूडेंट्स गलत करते हैं, तो वो चीज़ थोड़ी सी ध्यान रखिएगा। कई बार क्वेश्चंस जो हैं वो ट्रिग्नोमेट्री से आते हैं, तो साइन, कॉस, साइन 0, साइन 90, कॉस 0, कॉस 90, इस तरीके की जो वैल्यूज़ हैं उसको थोड़ा सा ध्यान रखिए। कई बार ट्राइंगल के एरिया से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, राइट एंगल ट्राइंगल, इन सब चीज़ों को थोड़ा सा प्रैक्टिस कर लीजिए। लेकिन अगर मैं आपसे ये कहूँ कि आप बेस्ट क्या कर सकती हैं, पिछले 10 साल के पेपर्स जीए के देख लीजिए एंड दैट वुड बी सफिशिएंट एज फार एज आई थिंक। और अभी तो टाइम काफ़ी कम बचा हुआ है, तो मेरे हिसाब से यही एक प्रॉपर अप्रोच हो सकती है गिवन टाइम में। जी, मैंने बताया था ना, इसीलिए मैंने आपसे कहा कि अगर आप बायो बैकग्राउंड के हैं तो आई एम नॉट श्योर कि आपको मैथ्स में कितना कॉन्फिडेंस। जैसे मैं खुद बायो बैकग्राउंड का हूँ तो मेरी मैथमेटिक्स उतनी अच्छी नहीं है, तो अगर मैं बहुत भी प्रयास करूँगा तब भी बहुत अच्छा स्कोर नहीं कर पाऊंगा मैथ्स में। तो वो आपको अपनी कैपेसिटी पता होगी, ओवरडू मत करने जाइएगा प्लीज़। इफ़ वी डिडेंट प्रिपेयर फॉर मैथ्स स्टिल कैन वी गेट गुड मार्क्स। आपको ईमानदारी से बताऊँ तो इससे पिछले साल तक जब हम पढ़ाते थे स्टूडेंट्स को, तो हम इंजीनियरिंग मैथमेटिक्स नहीं पढ़ाते थे अपने क्लासेस में। इसके बावजूद भी जो रैंक्स आई हुई हैं आपने देखा होगा, मैंने पिछले साल जब वीडियो बनाया था, चिन्मय के अलावा AIR 3 तो है ही है, AIR 14 है, AIR 15 है, AIR 24 है, इस तरीके से तमाम रैंक्स मैंने गिना बिना इंजीनियरिंग मैथमेटिक्स पढ़ाए हुए लेकर के आई थी। हालांकि इसमें से कई स्टूडेंट्स जो हैं मैथमेटिक्स बैकग्राउंड के हैं, तो उन्होंने खुद भी किया होगा, बट मैंने नहीं पढ़ाया था। तो मैं ईमानदारी से एडमिट करता हूँ कि आप इंजीनियरिंग मैथमेटिक्स के बिना भी टॉप IIT IISc में जा सकते हैं, आप अगर अपना बायोटेक्नोलॉजी के पोर्शन पे कमांड रखते हैं तो। Sir, should we focus more on those topics which IIT Guwahati has asked? IIT Guwahati का अगर आप पेपर देखेंगे then you would be getting an idea that what kind of questions IIT Guwahati is asking. मैंने अपने क्लासेस में भी डिस्कस किया था, IIT गुवाहाटी ने पेपर जैसे इजी टू मीडियम बनाया था, बहुत हाई एंड पेपर नहीं बनाता, इजी टू मीडियम टाइप का पेपर है, जो मैं एक्सपेक्ट भी करता हूँ। मीडियम टाइप का पेपर आएगा, बैलेंस्ड पेपर आता है गुवाहाटी का हमेशा, तो वही मैं एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा हूँ इस बार। IIT गुवाहाटी के पेपर में बहुत कुछ बायो प्रोसेस इंजीनियरिंग का नहीं आया था, आपने देखा होगा। मॉल बायो के क्वेश्चंस बहुत ज़्यादा आए थे, देयर वर मेनी क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम मॉल बायो, देयर वर मेनी क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम सेल बायोलॉजी। बायो प्रोसेस के क्वेश्चंस थे बट ईजी थे एंड दे वर डूएबल। जैसे एक पेपर था IIT बॉम्बे का, वहाँ पे लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम बायो प्रोसेस इंजीनियरिंग वर आस्क्ड एंड दे वर ऑफ वेरी हाई लेवल, तो वो थोड़े से मुश्किल हो गए थे, बट गुवाहाटी का पेपर वॉज कंपेरेटिवली बैलेंस्ड। How much marks needed to get IIT Bombay? This is a difficult question, depends upon how many people are giving the examination. आप प्रीवियस ईयर कट ऑफ IIT बॉम्बे का देख सकते हैं, वो आपको ज़्यादा बेहतर बता सकते हैं। सर, अगर गेट एक्सेल और BT दोनों पेपर के लिए अटेम्प्ट, आपका पूरा क्वेश्चन आया नहीं है, अगर आप दोबारा से टाइप कर दे तो। मुझे ऐसा लगता है, देखिए हर साल क्या होता था, BT का पेपर पहले होता था और एक्सेल का पेपर बाद में होता था। बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स इस बार बोल रहे हैं कि सर इस बार मुझे लगता है कि एक्सेल का पेपर पहले हो रहा है एंड BT का पेपर बाद में हो रहा है। तो सर हम क्या करें, हम छोड़ देंगे एक्सेल? बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स ऐसा कह रहे हैं। मेरे हिसाब से दिस इज़ नॉट द राइट अप्रोच। आप इतने दिन से पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं, यू डू नॉट नो BT का पेपर इफ़ इट कम्स आउट टू बी टफ, देन आप क्या करोगे? तो आई पर्सनली वुड बी गिविंग एक्सेल पेपर ऑल्सो एंड BT पेपर ऑल्सो इफ़ आई हैव फिल्ड द फॉर्म। मैं दोनों भरूंगा, मैं एक की तरफ नहीं जाऊंगा। दैट इज़ माई पर्सनल ओपिनियन, मुझे ऐसा लगता है। So I think I have answered most of the queries, right? So दैट इज़ ऑल गाइज, थैंक यू सो मच एंड आई विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट। बाकी आप लोग तो मुझसे कनेक्टेड हैं ही हैं, आप कमेंट सेक्शन पे भी जा करके कोई भी आपके क्वेश्चंस ऐसे हैं जो आपको लगता है कि नहीं आंसर हो पाए, आई एम ऑलवेज देयर फॉर यू। आप बिल्कुल 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 बेझिझक मैसेज करिए। मेरा एम यही है, चाहे आप मेरे स्टूडेंट हो, चाहे आप यूट्यूब से मुझसे पढ़ रहे हो, या चाहे आप इंडिया के किसी भी कोने में हो, मुझे जानते हो नहीं जानते हो, आपका सिलेक्शन होना चाहिए, दैट इज़ द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग। ठीक है, तो थैंक यू गाइज एंड विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट। मैं वेट करूँगा आप लोगों के मैसेजेस का 7th को कि आपका पेपर बहुत अच्छा हुआ है। थैंक यू अगेन एंड हैव अ गुड डे।